Attracting woodpeckers to the yard is easier than most people think. These birds are bold, curious, and a few of them are surprisingly easy to lure in with the right setup. Especially if you're offering the right kind of food and habitat they actually care about. Whether it's to a big backyard or a single window feeder outside a condo, woodpeckers are easier to attract than you might expect. There are 22 species of woodpeckers found in the US. 23 if you still count the ivory-billed. And depending on where you live, you might be seeing some totally different species than someone just a few states away. From the giant pileated to the tiny downy. Woodpeckers come in all shapes and sizes. In this video, we'll not only show you how to attract them, but also what a few of the more common species actually look like. So you'll know who's been stopping by. As always, if you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment with what kinds of woodpeckers you've seen in your yard. Thanks for watching. Tip number 1. Put out suet. If you want to get woodpeckers to show up fast, start with suet. It's one of their absolute favorite foods. Especially in cooler months when they need more fat and energy, you can find suet blocks almost anywhere that sells bird food. Look for ones that include extra goodies like peanuts, sunflower seeds, or berries. Some people make their own suet at home, while others prefer to smear soft suet or organic peanut butter directly onto tree bark for a more natural feel. That works just as well. When it comes to feeders, go with something simple but effective. A simple wire suet cage is a classic option. We prefer the ones with tail props, those little boards that extend below the feeder. These tail props give woodpeckers the support they need while feeding, especially the larger ones. The woodpeckers push their tails against it as sort of a third anchor point for maximum stability. Suet feeders can be mounted on a tree or hung from a pole or sturdy post. Don't be surprised if a red-bellied or downy finds it not long after it goes up. Tip number 2. Offer seeds they like. Suet might be a favorite of woodpeckers, but seeds can also bring them in, especially if you're offering the right ones. They're not as interested in the cheap filler seed mixes. Instead, go for black oil sunflower seeds, shelled peanuts, cracked corn, or dried fruit. Some seed blends are made specifically for woodpeckers and usually include a mix of high-fat, high-protein ingredients. We serve up black sunflower seeds almost exclusively and get many woodpecker visitors to our feeders. Feeder placement and stability matter. Woodpeckers prefer setups that feel secure and give them something solid to grip while feeding. Offering a few different styles can help you figure out what they respond to. Our next tip takes that a step further and covers the specific types of feeders that tend to work best. Tip number 3. Use the right types of feeders. Even with the best food, the wrong feeder can make it difficult to attract woodpeckers. These birds need space to land, cling, and maneuver, so flimsy or tiny feeders won't cut it. They do best with feeders that have wide landing zones or vertical surfaces they can grip. That's why suet cages with tail props or sturdy platform feeders are ideal. Make sure the feeder is stable and doesn't swing too much in the wind. Tube feeders can be a challenge for anything larger than a downy. A shaky setup can make them feel unsafe, especially medium to large species like the red-headed, red-bellied, and the massive pileated woodpecker. Keep things steady and easy to access. Once they feel comfortable, they'll likely start visiting regularly. Tip number 4. Try a nest box. Some woodpeckers will excavate their own nest holes, but others will happily use a nest box if it's built right and placed in a good spot. Downy woodpeckers, red-headed woodpeckers, and even northern flickers have been known to move into man-made boxes. It won't happen overnight, but it's worth a try if you want to see them stick around during nesting season. Look for a box designed specifically for woodpeckers, with a rough interior and an entry hole around 1.5 to 2 inches wide, depending on the species, mounted at least 6 to 10 feet off the ground, somewhere quiet and protected. Adding a small predator guard around the entrance can also help keep them safe. This may not be the fastest way to attract woodpeckers, but it can be one of the most rewarding if they decide to move in. Tip number 5. Plant native trees. If you're in this for the long haul, one of the best things you can do is plant native trees and shrubs. Woodpeckers rely on trees not just for food, but also for shelter, nesting, and roosting. Maples, pines, dogwoods, and cherry trees are all great options depending on your region. They support the insects woodpeckers like to eat and often provide nuts, sap, or fruit too. Even if you don't have space for a large tree, planting native shrubs can help too. Look for berry-producing options like elderberry or serviceberry. These plants not only attract woodpeckers, they'll bring in other birds as well and make your yard more vibrant overall. Tip number 6. Hummingbird feeders. It might sound surprising, but some woodpeckers are known to visit hummingbird feeders. Downy woodpeckers in particular will often drink from nectar feeders, especially those with wider ports. It's not a major part of their diet, but during hot weather or dry spells, they'll take advantage of the easy sugar water. We've also seen red-bellied woodpeckers stop by for a drink on multiple occasions. So it's not just the smaller species that take interest. Woodpeckers have long, flexible tongues that let them reach the nectar, similar to how a hummingbird would. If you already have a hummingbird feeder up, keep an eye on it. You might spot a woodpecker snaking a sip every now and then. Just be sure to keep the nectar clean and fresh. Moldy nectar isn't safe for any bird. Tip number 7. Leave dead trees. It might go against your instincts, but leaving a dead or partially dead tree standing can do wonders to attract these birds. Woodpeckers love to forage in soft, decaying wood where insects are plentiful. Dead trees, often called snags, are especially valuable to them. A snag is usually just a remaining trunk, often missing most of its branches or top, and it makes excellent habitat for nesting and roosting. If it's safe to leave part of a dead tree in place, consider keeping it. Even a single upright branch or the lower trunk can offer real value. And if you don't have a dead tree in your yard, you can still mimic one by propping up a thick log and drilling a few shallow holes into it. Fill those holes with suet or organic peanut butter, and woodpeckers will absolutely check it out. 3 common woodpeckers we see at our feeders. Now that you know how to make your yard woodpecker friendly, you might be wondering what species actually live in your area. Check out the link in the description for a full state-by-state breakdown of every woodpecker in the US. But here in Tennessee, there are a few species that show up again and again at our feeders. Downy woodpeckers are the smallest woodpecker species in North America and easily the most frequent woodpecker visiting at our feeders. They're quick, bold, and not shy about returning once they found a reliable food source. Males have a small red patch on the back of their head, while females are just black and white. They're typically the first woodpecker to check out a new feeder in our yard. Red-bellied woodpeckers are noticeably larger and louder than downies. With bright red caps and black and white bared backs, the name can be a little misleading since the reddish wash on their belly is often hard to spot, and it's really the red head that stands out. This is another species we see at the feeders quite often. though not as frequently as the downy. They're especially fond of peanuts and sunflower seeds, and once they decide they like your setup, they'll visit regularly. Red-headed woodpeckers aren't nearly as common in our yard as the previous two. But when they do show up, they're hard to miss. With their full crimson red heads, bright white underparts, and glossy black wings and backs, they're one of the most striking woodpeckers you'll see. In the past, we haven't seen many of these guys, but this year, we've had a mating pair that's been showing up weekly, sometimes even daily. We've captured some great videos of them, including some that you've seen in this video. Woodpeckers might be allowed and cause a little trouble now and then, but they're absolutely worth having. Their bold personalities, striking colors, and the way they light up the yard once they settle in make them a joy to watch. There's nothing like a visit from a pileated or red-headed woodpecker to really bring your backyard to life. And once they start showing up, you might find yourself looking out the window a little more than you used to. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.